Because on this day,
On this day, Joey Ramone, he was one of the members of a band called the Ramones, died on this day in 2001.
He had a cancer? One of the
yeah.
cancers?
Yeah. That song, Pinhead, features the phrase "Gabba Gabba Hey," as you heard, which became kind of the cry of the band. "Gabba Gabba Hey" was always associated with them, and I didn't know where this all came from until I just looked it up. The Ramones were supposed to play a gig, and it was an outdoor gig, and the weather was bad, so they couldn't do it. So they all went to a movie together, and the movie they saw was Freaks,
ah, yes.
which is an old black and white movie, and one of the main characters in Freaks, which is a very freaky movie, is a microencephalic, or cruelly known as a pinhead, but is an actual person who has suffered from microencephaly. I think there were two of them in the movie, as I recall,
Yes.
named Schlitzie. So then they wrote that song, and in the movie, they keep saying, "Gobble gobble, hey, we're going to eat you up," and that's where, oh, gobble gobble, we accept her, one of us, one of us,
One of us, yes.
Yeah. That's what the pinheads and other freaks in the circus keep saying about the beautiful trapeze artist. She's the only one who's whole in the movie, pretty much. She's the beauty, and there she's surrounded by these circus freaks. It's
And then does something bad happen? Because I bet something bad happens.
Oh, yes, it does. She's the strong man really loves her, as I recall the plot, but she rejects the strong man because he's this big, fat, burly guy. She's a beautiful trapeze artist. She rejects him, and then the freaks in the movie, and I think it's Todd Browning who directed it. He actually hired circus freaks as actors, and there's some pretty disturbing scenes in it.
That are real people.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
It's black and white from I think the late 30s, but worth seeking out and watching because it's really cool.
So forgive me for not knowing, but is that affliction a tiny head?
Well, it is what it what it says. Yeah, your head has the tendency to grow. It's smaller and kind of pointed.
Okay.
In comparison and in proportion to the rest of your body, microencephaly, as opposed to macroencephaly, which
Who
is
has that?
Other
Jay
people
Leno?
who people. No, he has jaw encephaly, macro jaw, but the macro and micro, often micro people will die because the constriction on the brain.
Mm-hmm.
And macro is another problem. You can't hold your head up. So how do you live if you can't hold your head up? Kind of thing. Hi,
That's fun.
What a wonderful way to begin the program today, talking about various genetic mutations. Earthquake last night.
The text, the main character is a little person who has a large inheritance. She marries him to get the inheritance. She's the villain.
Oh, that's right.
Yes.
That
Yeah,
makes
that's
sense.
thank you.
Anyway.
Yeah, that's right. She marries the little person, or as they call him in the movie, the midget. Yeah, that's right. She marries him to get the inheritance.
What
But
a
I think
bitch.
there's something that she rejects the strong man too. He wants to love her, and she rejects him because, Anyway, there was in fact last night. Many of you felt it. I sure did. Carrie,
I didn't.
earthquake?
Slept through
No?
it. Yep.
Yeah, I was just in bed, reading a few paragraphs from a magazine, which puts me to sleep generally. If I find myself not able to sleep, I'll read just a few minutes and then I'll fall asleep. And all of a sudden, the room started to shake. And I live pretty much in downtown Salt Lake. Now, my bedroom is on the second floor. My wife and daughter were downstairs on the ground floor. I jumped out of bed. It was a brief moment, but the bed was definitely going back and forth. And I jumped up, went to well, what's the matter? They said, it's an earthquake. No, we didn't feel anything. No,
Earthquake.
really?
warning.
No, and they said, my wife said, well, a helicopter just flew by, which often happens, and they fly fairly close to our house sometimes, and because I live around a bunch of hospitals, conveniently, and sometimes it'll rattle the windows. She said, maybe it was the helicopter. I went, oh, okay, yeah, okay. Whew. Went back, got in bed. All of a sudden, the earthquake alert on my phone went off. Sure enough, 4.2, I think, out near Magna. I looked on Twitter, Ivy at Boozteak. Oh my God, was that an earthquake?
Well, she's got a boutique full of glass. She must be nervous.
And poor Ben Winslow is at his wit's end, according to
I'm
Twitter.
at my wit's end.
I've had it. I've
What
had
is-
it.
What does your earthquake sound like? Is it this?
Earthquake warning has been issued. It's gonna be 9.0 or greater magnitude. It may destroy lots of houses.
That's it. That's the one.
I was having dinner when the earthquake hit. Because I have dinner in my house at 8 o'clock at night, much to my dismay.
And you're powerless to change that.
I do not make the dinner. The person that makes the dinner makes it at 8 o'clock at night.
And
If I would
apparently
like
has
to
no-
eat the dinner.
and
that's when
apparently
the dinner
has
happens.
apparently he has no regard for your feelings in these matters.
8 o'clock.
Why don't you get those hidden Pop-Tarts and have those and go to bed?
And then go to bed.
And then,
Yeah.
because I would like the delicious dinner that he makes at 8 o'clock. It's a sacrifice. We're all making sacrifices.
Is that right? 4.2 at 8:56 is
Yeah.
what Blaine is saying.
Yeah, that's pretty much. And it's considered to be one of the aftershocks of that main one we had in March. So it's an aftershock.
It's all related. It's not
Yeah,
a new.
it's
event.
almost in the exact same place as that. What was the initial one?
5.7, wasn't it?
Was it 5.7? Oh, I should remember that because I'm allegedly 5'6". So, I guess we had to officially start the show here in a second. I'm thinking I'm going to shave my head
Why?
because my hair just looks terrible. It's falling out. It's getting thinner and thinner.
It's stress, I'm telling you.
It probably is. I don't know why it should be falling out all of a sudden in big clumps. Well, I mean, I live really close to a nuclear reactor, but I don't think that's it.
There's that.
It's up on the university. There is one up on the university
Mm-hmm.
campus.
I keep hearing
small
about how the nuclear power is so clean.
Mm-hmm.
I don't understand why it could be affecting.
Yeah, I don't know if that's. Listen, I drink plenty of Mill Creek coffee. I'm drinking some Mill Creek coffee right now, and that should strengthen one's hair. But it doesn't seem to be help. I mean, it keeps me awake and it tastes delicious. I thought it had hair strengthening
Try
properties.
rubbing it into your scalp. It'll smell
Yeah.
good.
I usually have a little bit left over that I don't actually drink, and it gets too cold.
Yeah, just
Maybe
rub
I'll
it
try
in.
that before I just shave it off. But I'm really getting close to just saying,
You've
to
had
hell
it.
with it. Yeah, I've had it. Shave it off. Whatever. Anyway, let's begin the show officially in just a couple of minutes. We'll have to take a break, play some commercials, and then how about you call us? Tell us if you felt the earthquake. 877-602-9696. Did you feel it last night? Have you had it? Like little Amy in that video I posted, which a lot of you watched, I noticed. Go to @RFHBill, look for the little video I posted of that sweet little girl, Amy, who's also just had it. 877-602-9696. That's the number to call. Check in with the Radio from Hell show. Also, if you got your stimulus check, people
We've
are
been
saying,
getting a lot of notices. Yeah, a lot of people have been getting them. So
what are you going to spend it on mostly? What is the pressing need to spend it on? 877-602-9696. Check in with the Radio from Hell show, and we'll come back and officially begin the program.
I don't have
It is the 23rd century. Humans have left the lowly confines of planet Earth and have sought their destiny among the stars. While many things have changed, one constant remains: the need for young men to venture forth and do the work of the Lord. This is the tale of two such men who at the age of 19 have answered the call of their general authorities and are embarking on a 2-year mission to spread the gospel throughout the galaxy. This is the story of Space Elders! In this episode, we find an old adversary of Butch and Lehigh planning their demise.
So, bounty hunter, you will bring me Christiansen?
Jabba the Hutt was very fond of his Rancor. He would pay me more for a complete set of missionaries.
Christiansen made me look weak in front of the Emperor. Only by turning Christiansen to the dark side will I be able to regain my place by the Emperor's side.
One Elder Jensen.
Sell him to that slug, Jabba. I have arranged to have the elders meet you on Bespin. There you can ambush them without anyone noticing.
If these elders bested you and the Emperor, how do you expect me to transport them back to you?
I prefer my elders frozen. There is a carbonite facility on Cloud City. That should make transporting them simple.
Have my credits ready. I'll be right back.
Here we are, Butch. Cloud City. It sure looks like the holograms they showed us in school.
I don't know, Lehigh. I always get nervous when I stand on a city that's floating miles above the surface. Are you sure this is the right place?
Zone Leader Hanson said that we're supposed to meet someone here named Lando Calrissian, right here on Bespin.
Well, church records on this Calrissian fellow show him to be a gambler, smuggler, womanizer, and a penny stock manipulator. Are you sure this is the guy?
Well, maybe he's ready to turn over a new leaf. Oh, I think that's him right there.
Hi, and welcome to Cloud City. I'm Lando Calrissian. I run the mining operation here on Bespin. Could I offer you a beverage, perhaps some malt?
I love a malt.
Liquor?
Oh, no, we don't drink, Mr. Calrissian. I'm Elder Christiansen, and this is Elder Jensen.
Hi.
We represent the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints.
You know, the
Now,
Mormons.
our zone leader said that you might be interested in learning more about our religion.
Actually, no. We have some common acquaintances. I've made a deal with the Empire. Well, they'll leave me alone if I introduce you to this guy over here. Elders, this is Boba Fett. Boba Fett, Elders Christiansen and Jensen there. Gotta go now. Got a city to run. Bye-bye.
Well, Mr. Fat was up. Well, hi, Hey, I'm all tied up!
Cool toy. I need to get me one of those. We could convert more people if we could just tie them up first.
Now, Butch, I don't think we would be allowed to hog-tie prospective converts. Excuse me, Mr. Fat, could you untie me now?
One down, one to go.
Don't push my companion in that hole!
Whoa!
What have you done to my companion? Is Butch dead?
No, he wouldn't be worth much to me dead. Jabba wants to see him die in person. Your companion is frozen in carbonite. Now, if you would be so kind as to throw yourself down in there, we could get on with this.
You're going to take us both back to Jabba's palace?
No, you have an appointment with Darth Vader and the Emperor.
Cousin Darth? Oh, my.
Hey, get over here.
Sorry about this, Butch, but I need you to do something for me.
Ah!
Oh, I guess you weighed more than I thought in this thing, Butch. I'm sorry, Mr. Fat. I hope my companion, who's now frozen in carbonite, wasn't too heavy. Oh, geez, what do I gotta do now? I better go for some help.
Never leave your companion, Lehigh.
Mr. Kenobi?
It is the first rule. You must never leave your companion.
Obi-Wan! Come back, I need some help. Oh, well, I guess I can put you on my luggage rack like this, Butch. Come on, let's go. Will Butch be able to serve out the rest of his mission frozen in carbonite? Can Lehigh really find a big microwave to defrost him in? Will Darth Vader ever get his revenge and once again become the Emperor's favorite lapdog? And where does Boba Fett get all those neat gizmos? Tune in next time to hear Butch say... on the next mind-numbing episode of Space Elders!
6:19. I guess let's get this over with.
All right, the sooner we start, the sooner we're done, so I agree. Let's do it. Gina?
Let's lend a hand to those who serve us. Salt Lake City food and beverage workers displaced by coronavirus pandemic and the Salt Lake earthquake. We had another one last night. They all need your help. To donate, visit downtownslc.org/tipyourserver.
All right, the moon is a waning crescent, 44.4% of full. The moon will set today at 1:06 p.m., today being Wednesday. Yes, today is Wednesday. Thank you. It's the 15th day of April in the year of our Lord, Jesus Christ 2020. And this is the Radio from Hell show, featuring the star-studded cast of characters. Kerry Jackson, Bill Allred, hi, I'm right here, x96.com/live. Gina Marie Barberi up there in the left corner of my screen. Katie for short in the bottom left corner of my screen is running the show back in the studio, and we have Miriam and Hawk helping out today as well. Today is, by the way, Titanic Remembrance Day, World Art Day, Rubber Eraser Day, and income taxes due most years today, but not this year. Not this year.
Okay.
Bill, what's behind you? You have some sort of statue behind you?
It's just a guy. He's just hanging out.
It's just a guy.
He's just hanging out there by Lamp. There he is, right there. x96.com/live. He's by Lamp.
I can't see it.
He's well.
It's
Just a little guy.
The frame
That's new,
is,
though. You didn't have that yesterday.
No, I didn't.
You-
Very
You're
observant.
decorating
Gina.
your space.
He's
You're very-
replaced.
Go ahead.
He's replaced fruit pie, right?
Yes, he has. Fruit Pie needed
Okay.
to take a break. Fruit Pie's been drinking too heavily. That's the problem.
And when he's
tired.
close to you, the alcohol is close by, so you have to move him away.
Well, we haven't had any alcohol in the house for, I bet it's been 18 hours. So,
He's out of
that you're
fruit
telling me.
wine.
yeah,
I need my fruit wine. Where can I get my fruit wine?
exactly. Yeah. So 877-602-9696 if you want to call and say hello, check in with the Radio from Hell show. We're all broadcasting remotely from our individual homes. You can see us at x96.com/live. And how you doing? Are you okay? Let us know. Are you going to work? What's going on?
Did you feel the earthquake last night?
Yeah, the
Did you
earthquake
sleep with
last
your
night?
shoes on?
Anybody want to comment on any of that, Katie? She's watching the phones. No one wants to. Well, the hell with you then. I don't care.
Well, folks, behind the scenes, we've been talking about extending the show for an hour, and now I can see that's not necessary.
No, I think it is necessary because I think people are getting up later. So
Yeah, we're
more likely to hear us later on than first thing in the...
Well, then
It's
we
a
should
question.
start.
What's your
Well, we
what's
should
your
start at
schedule?
7 then. We should start at 7.
Well, we've been talking about that, but I think there are people, although people are not calling to let us know that we should stay on at 6. so if you don't want us to stay on between 6 and 7 and just start at 7, that's okay.
All right. Well, Jake is the first to step up.
All right, Jake, what's up?
Hey, what's up, guys? How are you?
Well, we're doing okay. Tell us what you're doing today.
I talked to you guys maybe a week or two ago. I'm down in Moab. I live in Moab.
Oh, yeah. How's things down there? Quiet, I bet.
Yeah, it's very quiet. I just wanted to say hi. Love you guys. Keeping
Thank
me
you.
entertained every day.
You're listening on your computer or your phone, I guess?
I'm actually in my car right now.
Yeah. Where are you going and what do you do?
I'm just driving around town to keep myself sane. I wake up and I just do a loop around town.
Huh. What kind of work do you do when you're down there?
Oh, I manage some restaurants down here.
Yeah, so you're not doing much of that, I guess.
No, I'm not doing any of that. No one's doing any of that right now. Well, there's a couple places open, but for the most part, everything's shut down. And so I got my dog in the back seat, and we're just driving around, listening, and I just want to check in from Moab and say what's up.
Well, thanks
What's
for
your
doing
dog's
it.
name?
My dog's name is Romeo.
Aw, what kind of dog is Romeo? I'm just trying to picture you guys there.
He's a golden doodle.
Aw.
I like those.
He's very, very cute.
Why Romeo? Is he rather amorous?
Well, he's a lover, so there's that.
Okay. Hey, thanks for checking in, and stay sane down there, okay?
Okay, thanks, you guys. Love you.
All right, Jake.
Bye-bye.
Looks like
See you,
Nick
Nick.
has stepped up. Nick.
Hey, Nick.
Good morning.
Good
Nick,
morning.
what do you do?
I hope you guys can hear me. My phone's really garbage.
We can hear you,
Garbage phone,
sort of.
yeah.
What do you-
I'm just calling because there's an earthquake last night, and I predicted it because I dreamed it last night that there was an earthquake.
You dreamed it.
You dreamed it, so
It was
You
no
can
dream.
dream earthquakes into being. It happens.
Yeah.
Well, like yesterday, I went to my old job site. That it was my earthquake job site.
Uh-huh.
So right when I got to work, that's when the earthquake happened and all that stuff. And I was listening to you guys cut off the air, but I just thought it was funny that I went there yesterday, and then I went to bed last night and dreamed it, and there was another one. So
Yeah.
Well, I'm just glad we have someone to blame now. So
Yeah,
thank you.
we can just blame you.
yeah.
Well, good. Hey, thanks for checking in with us. And do you want us to keep on being on the air at 6?
Yeah, because I wake up at like 5 in the morning and I'm waiting for you guys. So
Okay.
all right, Nick.
All right,
Thank
Nick.
you.
Thanks for checking in. See ya.
Let's move
Anthony
on.
says, I'm an ER nurse. I get off at 6 a.m. and I have an hour drive home, and I listen to your show every morning on the way home from work. I would be sad if you moved to 7 o'clock. I'd be home by the time the show starts.
Tyler, the trash man, checking in. I can't call because I can't drive and talk due to DOT regulations, but just know that I'm here every morning listening.
And Tim the tree guy's there.
Yeah.
And someone else says, I'd love an extra hour. So
All right.
I'd be sad if your show moved to 7. Yeah.
Let's go to, is it Joe or Jill?
It's Jill.
Jill.
Hi, Jill.
Hi, Jill.
Thanks for checking in. Talk to us.
Good morning.
morning.
Thank you for being there.
Sure. Talk to us.
I just wanted to say I felt the shaking last night, and I'm really, really over it.
Yep, me too.
I'm not over it.
I threw up
wish
my
I-
hands and went, that's it. I'm
I wish I-
done.
Yep, pretty much. That was me.
Jill, what are you doing with your days?
Yes?
What are you doing with your days?
I am on my way to work right now.
What do you do?
I work for Reams Food Stores.
Yeah?
Yeah.
You can always save 10% at Reams. At Reams. How long have you worked for Reams?
And don't forget the jeans wall.
Jeans wall reference.
Jeans wall, exactly. Yeah. How long have you worked for Reams?
29 years.
Yeah, man. It's you know all of those references then. And who was
yeah.
It was what was his name? Joe that used
Joe
to do
Redburn.
Joe Redburn.
Joe
Yeah,
Redburn
used to do the
commercials for
ads.
Reams.
At Reams.
Yes, I'm Joe Redburn.
My mother-in-law loves Reams. She still shops at the one that's
nice.
out of her way down on. There's still one down on State Street in Salt Lake, isn't there? I think so.
We actually just closed that one.
Oh, well, she'll be very disappointed.
Yes,
She likes
that one is up for lease. Yep.
They have the
All
best
right.
produce, she always says.
Well, Jill, thank you.
Jill,
Well,
you
Jill,
made my day. Thank you.
Thanks for checking in, and have a safe day at Reams.
Thank you, and you too. Thank you.
That's my sign off, by the way. Don't forget the jeans wall.
We're going to have an earthquake.
Yeah.
All right. Let's do traffic, Gina. Do you have traffic?
Nope. No traffic. I mean, there's no traffic. There's no accidents. There's no trouble, I guess I should say.
Yeah, I mean,
people
there's
out driving,
traffic.
but there's no trouble. If you see trouble, you can alert us to trouble with a text. Our short code is 33986.
All right. Well, then we will take a break, and we will be back. We've got, in the next break, big boy news and opinioendo, and things that must go, all coming up in the next break. So stand by for that. Brooklinen.com is the website. You're home, you're shopping online, you're not, this working from home thing, come on, let's be real. You're shopping online, you're looking at stuff online. And so I want you to go to brooklinen.com and take a look at some of the stuff that will make your home office much more comfortable. It's not just the sheets. I love my Brooklinen sheets and my towels and everything, but they have all kinds of great stuff. They're furniture, art, silk eye masks. That'll soothe your furrowed brow. Robes, loungewear. It'll make going to work in your home office a lot more comfortable. Brooklinen.com, perfect place to start making small changes that make a big difference. Brooklinen so confident in their product, all of their sheets, comforters, loungewear, and towels come with a lifetime warranty, so go ahead and make yourself comfortable. You'll get 10% off your first order and free shipping when you use the promo code Jackson, my last name, only at brooklinen.com. That's BROOKLINEN.com, and the promo code Jackson. Brooklinen, everything you need to live your most comfortable life. All right, so we're downtown now. We're Broadway Media
Yeah.
because our building is on Broadway.
Yeah.
Third South.
Third South. Now, the mayor has taken an awful lot of time and money to build very special bicycle lanes
Yes.
here on
They're
Third.
Dedicated.
They're very nice.
Dedicated. So I'm walking down Broadway yesterday, and here comes a bike rider toward me on the sidewalk.
Jerk.
On the sidewalk.
He's on the sidewalk, riding his bike down the sidewalk, coming towards me.
Wienermobile. Sorry. For some reason, the Wienermobile's outside. I'm sorry.
I knew she'd do that. I ignored it.
You ignored the Wienermobile.
I did.
You can acknowledge in your head the Wienermobile when
I
someone's in the middle of
understand.
telling a story.
I'm sorry. It's on Third South, Broadway, where your story takes place.
So the bike's coming toward you.
Bike's coming toward me on the sidewalk.
Tell the story to me and shut up, Mike.
Yeah. And so and this is exactly how I did it. I wasn't a jerk about it. I wasn't, hey! I never did that.
Mhm.
I went like this. Bike lane. You could use the bike lane. Said it exactly like that.
Mm-hmm.
And as the guy zipped past me, he yells, F off.
Hug off.
I mean, why? I would think you would prefer to use the bike lane.
Sure.
Why would it be more attractive to drive down the sidewalk than
What sort of
the bike lane?
What could you tell? What sort of
It was
biker and
well, he was casual, I think.
was
Because
it a hipster or was it,
it was
a guy?
kind of a hipster.
Or was it a DUI
It was
guy?
a mountain bike, younger guy, no helmet.
Not a DUI guy.
No. But then a minute later, so I just kept walking. A minute later, he scoots right up next to me.
Were you nervous?
And I'm like, I didn't know what to think. He said, dude, I listen every morning. That was an awesome interaction.
He turned around and came back.
He realized who it was that he had just told to hug off. Yeah.
And I went, okay. I just, the mayor spent an awful lot of time and money on that bike lane. I just thought you might want to use it, is all.
Did he explain why?
He rambled about how he's a passenger, he's a rider, he's a pedestrian, he just goes wherever, some sort of crazy.
Oh, he's like...
It didn't make any sense, and I just kept walking. So.
But he turned around and
came back.
Did he apologize?
Did not apologize. I think that was his way of apologizing.
Saying I listen to your show.
Saying I listen to your show every morning after I tell you to F off.
Well, I don't know. I think I might have said, that doesn't make it okay.
I didn't care to interact anymore. Once he started going on about how he's a pedestrian and a passenger and all that.
Doesn't make any sense.
I went, okay, I don't want to talk. I don't want to talk. Okay, we've got things that must go coming up after this Big Boy News and Opinioendo, brought to you by.
Help save a life, be part of the solution, and earn up to $500 this month at Grifols Plasma. Go to griffelsplasma.com for more information.
Even in the midst of his fight against stage 4 pancreatic cancer, Alex Trebek is finding ways to spread a message of hope and of love. The Jeopardy host announced that he's written a memoir. It's called The Answer Is Reflections on My Life, which will be released by Simon. And do you?
I get it.
Okay. Because the answer is... No, it should be the question is. Because don't you answer with a question on Jeopardy?
Oh, yeah, but then then it's a question, though.
Reflections on My Life is the name. The answer is Reflections on My Life. It should be, the name of his book should be, the question is, what are my reflections on life?
Yeah, you got it wrong, Alex Trebek.
Yeah, to hell with you, Trebek. I'm not reading it. Trebek has been resisting requests that he write a memoir for decades, but after he announced his diagnosis in March of last year, he was so moved by the letters and words of support that he decided to share his story. I want people to know a little bit more about the person they've been cheering on for the past year, said Trebek, who is 79. The answer is Reflections on My Life. He shares personal anecdotes and reveals his thoughts on topics like marriage, fatherhood, and spirituality. Inspired by the show that Trebek hosted for more than 30 years, each chapter title takes some form of a question. Well, there you go. Trebek also answers frequently asked questions by Jeopardy fans like why he shaved his mustache and what he thinks about Will Ferrell's Saturday Night Live impression. I think he's commented on that before, that he enjoys it quite a bit. He also includes dozens of previously unpublished photos. They were previously unpublished because nobody really wanted to see them. So
I'm trying to figure out. I mean, you've got a whole chapter about why you shaved your mustache?
Well, I don't know if it's a whole chapter.
It was a big deal, though. It was a national emergency.
I hear that, though, and I think to myself, the three of us have a lot more going on than Alex Trebek, right?
Well,
I got rid of my mustache years ago. And that was kind of a big deal.
In what way do we have a lot more going on?
I think that we would be able to have an autobiography.
Oh. Well, let's each write. Shall we each write one? I mean,
I don't know.
Are you laying down a challenge, or do you want to?
No, I'm just tossing. You know how it is when we toss out ideas. You know, things
Are
like
we spitballing?
Things like an extra hour of the show happen. You know,
show happens, Carrie. That's for sure. Yeah. Listen, Paul Stanley, during an appearance on a podcast, Paul Stanley from Kiss was asked how he is taking care of his voice. On the End of the Road tour, in light of the fact that the band's songs are challenging to sing. Is my voice what it was 20, 30, or 40 years ago, Stanley said? No,
He can't do those beginning notes of Heaven on Fire. He can't do them anymore.
There you go. Well, we mentioned it earlier, and yes, it's true. There was a sizable aftershock of the earthquake that jolted the valley last night, reigniting jitters for residents hit by a much stronger earthquake less than a month ago. The magnitude 4.2 quake last night centered 2.5 miles northeast of Magna. It hit just before 9 p.m., according to the U.S. Geological Survey. It was later downgraded to a 4.17. There were no immediate reports of damage. I know the second floor of my house was shaken for, it was less, it was 10 seconds maybe. The latest temblor was among the most powerful aftershocks since March 18, the day that a magnitude 5.7 rocked northern Utah, damaging more than 100 historic buildings and a number of schools and dozens of homes. Still, hundreds of aftershocks since then have shaken physically and emotionally hundreds of thousands of people. Now, this aftershock, said the University of Utah Seismograph Station, is part of the Magna sequence. And even though we had not felt shaking for a couple of weeks, the aftershocks are ongoing, and this is totally normal.
Why doesn't it feel normal? Because it really doesn't feel normal.
Well, because we haven't experienced much of this in the past. But people in California, this goes on all the time. They feel a little shaking like that one last night, and they go, yeah, okay, fine, and they move on with their lives.
I can actually attest to that one. I was on a video chat with my friend 2 weeks ago when that 4.9 hit California, the Orange County, and I was on FaceTime, and he's like, hold on, and he runs upstairs, and I can hear him on the phone. He goes, "Did you guys feel that earthquake?" He was completely calm, no phase, and I'm sitting there. I'm like, "Why are you so calm? Why are you not freaking out?" Like, I was terrified.
Yeah, it happens because it happens often enough that they just go, whatever.
I just don't.
That's why people. That's why people still live around the base of active volcanoes.
I just don't
get
it.
They do because they just say, well, this is where we live, and it sort of rumbles a little bit every once in a while, but nothing ever happens until it does. Mm-hmm. All public K through 12 schools in Utah will remain dismissed through the end of the academic year.
Wow. And Catholic schools.
The
Catholic schools are too. We got our own separate.
Oh, that's right. That's right. You guys are special. I forgot.
No, we're not special. Everybody's out.
Well, you're special in that you get your own private announcement that the rest of us are not privy to. But thank you for being the mouthpiece for the Catholic parochial school system, Gina.
We have Catholics listening.
I know we do, and that's why I'm grateful to you. I would not have known. I would have thought that the Catholic schools would still be in session and nuns would still be hitting kids over the head with rulers.
Gina,
but no,
you're one of the good ones.
Yeah, don't worry about that. You don't need to apologize for being Catholic.
Okay.
Even though it's kind of
okay.
out of step with the rest of us, but let's see. So the state will. Graduation ceremonies in accordance with that decision will now be moved online for a senior class. Students will continue completing their schoolwork remotely through the end of the quarter, and the new hope is that the school will resume again in person in the fall. Governor Herbert announced the decision to extend the soft closure of schools. That's such a stupid term, soft closure.
Soft closure?
Yeah. I mean,
they're calling it that because they're keeping the food services open and that sort of thing.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, that's true.
And the teachers are still teaching just online.
Yeah.
It's not like school's closed. It's just...
Yeah. Saying the prolonging of the time students are away and not meeting in large groups is crucial to the slow rate of infection here. Although, where is that story? Apparently here in Utah, coronavirus testing has been mangled from the beginning. In the United States, authorities rejected a working test created elsewhere in favor of having the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention establish its own. The CDC test was first immediately and obviously broken, delaying the ability of many Americans to get tested for weeks. When the test finally worked, the healthcare system did a poor job of distributing them, and the nation is still struggling with this today. Utah has been fairly a bright spot in all of that. It's the only state in the nation with a top 10 performance in tests per capita, 7th, and a bottom 10 ranking in deaths per capita. But there are still significant problems here with getting tested. The big one right now is that doctors are not ordering tests for every asymptom or for every symptomatic person. Now, the state state and the health department has said, if your patients even have one symptom, you should have them tested.
Well, and I listened to the press conference yesterday with Dr. Dunn, and a reporter asked her about that specifically, and she said, you do not need a doctor's note to get tested anymore.
Oh, yeah?
You can just show up at these drive-through testing places, and they will test you. And I think the state hasn't done a great job of getting that information out, that you don't need a doctor's.
Hold on. For two things there. First of all, Spencer Cox said that yesterday when we talked to him, Lieutenant Governor. And second of all, you can't just show up. I'm pretty sure that most of you call ahead. You have to call the testing center, or maybe you can go there in your car, but you can't get a test unless you call them from your car.
The point is, it's not clear, and that's why why as many people aren't getting tested, because it's not clear whether you have to call before or if you need a doctor's note. You don't need a doctor's note, and if you have any one of the symptoms, Dr. Dunn said yesterday that you can get assessed at the testing site. They will, interview you and take your temperature and determine whether they think you need the test or not.
Let's see, Salt Lake City Mayor Erin Mendenhall, who is going to...
Yeah, at 7 o'clock.
7, is it? She's going to be on our show today at 7 o'clock.
Yes.
She is reflecting on her first 100 days in office. She said it's been a lot to take in, being the mayor of Salt Lake, but she's still positive, and she said we're still doing other work rather than just dealing with the coronavirus. And I would point to that the city being able to buy up that Allen Park Nature Preserve and Sugar House. That's a great thing to have happen. The death toll in New York City now over 10,000 people. The new figures released by the city's health department drove up the number of people killed in New York to more than 10,000. That appeared to increase the overall United States death count by 17% to more than 26,000. There's just this one guy coming in from China, and we stopped that, and I think we're doing very, very well, and it'll be very, very low.
I'm president, and you're not.
Trump needs to blame somebody. The president needs to blame somebody. So now he's blaming the World Health Organization for the coronavirus pandemic, and he is saying the United States will no longer send any money to the World Health Organization until we investigate all of this. Attacking the WHO for severely mismanaging and covering up the spread of coronavirus, as well as being very China-centric. Trump claimed one of the organization's most dangerous and costly decisions was opposing travel restrictions from China. He then credited himself with saving untold number of lives, adding without evidence that thousands and thousands would have died if I had not restricted travel from China.
People were still coming in and out from China, though, is the thing.
Mm-hmm.
You can say he shut it off, and he did mostly, but they were still coming.
The economic stimulus checks that all of us, many of us are going to be getting or should be getting or have been getting, there's been a kind of a delay in them, you're receiving them, and why has that happened? Because the stimulus checks were halted, they were ordered to be stopped so that Trump could sign the checks. Now, he's not signing each one individually, although... No. But some of the checks went out, and my name ought to be on there, and so they stopped sending them out.
So it looks like Donald Trump himself is sending you money.
Oh, exactly.
His signature will appear in the memo portion.
Yeah.
I'm president, and you're not.
Is that where it is, really, in the memo portion?
That's what I read somewhere. Is it
hilarious.
because he can't legally sign that to make that check good? It has to be signed by somebody. I think at the Treasury or something like that.
Mm-hmm. And then finally this, hearkening back to a better time, Oreo's limited edition tiramisu flavor is hitting the shelves. The flavor was slated to hit shelves in April, and just like clockwork, Instagrammer Candy Hunter at Candy Hunting spotted them. Although they didn't give a review, a quick search of the hashtag tiramisu Oreos showed that people are seriously obsessed with this new cookie. They also confirmed that, yeah, they have 2 layers of delicious cream tiramisu and classic cream. So these Oreos are bursting with cream flavor, whatever cream flavor is. And then I saw a friend of the program tweet the other day something about, what was it, coconut and caramel Oreos, I think it was. She said they were just absolutely delicious.
Caramel Oreos. That sounds good.
All right, there you go.
Sports weather traffic.
Well, we mentioned the school closures for the end of the year, and that, of course, means that no more sports, no more school sports officially done for the spring season. No state cup, none of that happening. They're hoping to resume in the fall, but we shall see. So in my house, that means Mohammed just keeps kicking the ball against the side of the house for the foreseeable future. Weather, it's cold again this morning. We've got 46 right now and only going to get up to 53 with a 50% chance of rain today. And overnight tonight, we could see snow even in some places. It's going to dip down into the 20s again. Let's see, traffic, again, looking great. There's a few of you out there, but y'all seem to be playing nice and not getting in accidents. So let's continue to do that. If you see something like, I don't know, deer in the road, bears wandering around, I saw that up at Yosemite. The bears are just wandering down the street because the park's closed. And
they love it.
So if you see a bear, text us, 33986. Do you have a car payment you need to get rid of the next 120 days? You can do it with National Buick GMC of American Fork. Get 0% for 84 months on a new Buick or GMC.
All right, thank you. Things that must go now, brought to you by
Homey is the new way to buy and sell a home without paying crazy high 6% commissions. It's the way real estate should be. Go to homey.com. Homey has your back.
Things that must go on the radio from Hell Show.
These are things that are really, really bugging you, friends of the program, things that you just can't take anymore, things that if you have to bear them one more time in your life, you'll go crazy. And so if you write them down, put them in an email, send them to radiofromhell@x96.com, and we read it, it might bring you some relief of your aggravation, and in fact, it might make these things leave your life entirely. So send them, put must go in the subject line, and then radiofromhell@x96.com, send it off. Jeannie, you want to go first?
Sure. My first one is mine. I went to Harmon's yesterday. Harmon's doing a great job with their social distancing and making it easy to shop.
They're very strict.
The must go is people that are not following it. So they're restricting people that go into the store. And then in the aisles, there are one-way aisles. And there are arrows and big signs that say, you can go this way down this aisle and this way down the next. Big arrows and signs on the floor that you can't miss. I went past 2 people. They only allowed 10 people in the store. 2 people walking the wrong way. How are you missing these signs?
Do you say anything?
No, because you don't talk to people now. You keep your eyes straight and you.
I would love it if grocery stores keep this rule.
And they may. It's one way. You start at one end of the store. There's none of this wandering around and hanging out in the aisles. It's get in, get out. Let's see. These come from friends of the program. People that say, so true. It's unnecessary. If it's true, you don't need to say, it's so true. The fact that I can't hug anybody must go. I miss hugging. And homeschooling my kids, it's absolutely ridiculous. Math, I don't understand. Junior high math, help. Let's see, this from another friend of the program. My husband must go. Must go to work, I mean. I can't take it anymore. Apparently, I don't clean the house well enough for his OCD tendency. They're coming to take me away. Ha ha, ho ho. She wants him gone out of there. And this one, from a longtime friend of the program, because of the subject matter, I'm not going to read his name, but it says, hello, I'm a registered nurse. Currently working between hospice care and rehab. I was formerly in the OR but was cut loose recently. Currently, I care for 22 patients on my own, and I see their devastation every day not being able to spend time with their families due to being on lockdown quarantine. It especially hits extremely hard when a patient dies alone. 2 of my favorite patients died last week, days within each other without getting to say goodbye to their parents or loved ones. We have a dedicated section for COVID patients and will assign only 1 nurse to care for any patient who's there. 12 hours in our masks and goggles and other protective gear we can't remove for any reason is miserable, to say the least. And sanitizer has no problem finding all the cracks and sores I have every time. The stress is overwhelming, and I do cry a lot more these days. I can't thank you all enough for keeping us going right now. I know it's very tough for you as well, but hang in there. Always know that we all appreciate you and truly value your essential service to the community. I know and count on you to get me through these depressing and difficult times. You help me cope. Thank you. I love you all. My thing that must go. Daycares who choose to kick out children of healthcare providers and their spouses who work full-time. Yes, this happened to me and my wife, and we're finding it difficult to have anyone help us. F that S, he says.
Is that it?
Yep.
I know we're running out of time, right? So I'll do one short one here. When the COVID-19 alarms were just starting, and many cretins were loading up on toilet paper, it was also apparent that as TP supplies dwindled, they began stocking up on napkins, not flushable wipes and paper towels. I started worrying that they were flushing these items and would cause major sewer backups. So I called Governor Herbert's office and asked that he announce to the public to please not flush these. Here's what his phone lady answering person said to me. Well, have them call their clergy. What? Sorry, that woman must go.
Have them... Okay.
Well, it's a well-known fact, Carrie, that clergy are experts on flushable wipes.
I
don't
them
understand.
call their clergy. All right. Let's see. This one from Tiffany. Feel free to use my name. You know what must go? Everything Tiger King. He's an animal abuser, a drug addiction enabler, and technically a rapist. People who joke about dressing as Joe Exotic clearly were not actually paying attention to the show. If you want something more lighthearted and funnier that must go, how about social media questions designed to get your password reset questions? Don't post your senior high school yearbook pictures, people. Thanks for being there. Thanks for being you, Tiffany, working from home. All right, that's good enough since we are late. Oh, hang on.
There it is.
Things that must go on the radio from Hell Show.
Traffic.
That's all good. Move along.
All right. Okay.
It's always nice when you do that to, fill time for us.
Yeah.
There's nothing out there you can say about traffic? It's
We're
just
late, and I'm helping.
Oh, okay.
I'm trying to help.
I'm helping by doing nothing.
All right. We do have to take a break, though. We'll be back with Mayor Aaron Mendenhall coming up. Stand by for that. And, messages from the state of Utah.
New stuff. Call to action on all of these things. State of Utah official source for information is coronavirus.utah.gov. Now, again, the governor has directed this stay-at-home, stay-safe program through May 1st. The direction is to continue practicing social distancing, including no group gatherings, only making essential trips, and standing at least 6 feet apart, wearing a cloth mask in public places, and practicing good hygiene. The state parks are closed to non-county residents. Now, if you live in the county where the state park is, you can go, but you have to prove that you're a resident. Most of the national parks are also closed. Check with your county to see if there are any orders more specific. Anybody who has symptoms should and can be tested. We can test everybody who needs a test. So you just have to have one of the symptoms, and the test is free through your insurance. Call your doctor or go to do a free online assessment. Remember, isolate yourself, and again, it's coronavirus.utah.gov.
It is the 23rd century. Humans have left the lowly confines of planet Earth and have sought their destiny among the stars. While many things have changed, one constant remains: the need for young men to venture forth and do the work of the Lord. This is the tale of two such men who at the age of 19 have answered the call of their general authorities and are embarking on a 2-year mission to spread the gospel throughout the galaxy. This is the story of Space Elders! In this episode, we find our elders rendezvousing with Zone Leader Hansen on some distant planet in the BFE sector. Hey, Butch, what you got there?
Oh, it's a care package from my folks. You know, my mom means well, but she just doesn't understand the physics involved in sending stuff from home.
Well, what you mean?
Well, the cookies she sent are fine. They're hard as a rock, just the way I remember them. It's the lime jello with shredded carrots in it that causes problems. You know, even in Tupperware, this stuff goes bad after a week in hyperspace. Missionaries who have eaten this stuff have been known to develop a form of space madness.
Wow! Oh, look, here comes Zone Leader Hansen right now.
I have discovered the most incredible object. It allows us to view any period in the history of any planet. We can research early church history. This discovery will allow me to get reassigned back to Earth and leave you two losers far behind.
Great. Glad to hear it. What's that have to do with us?
Since you weren't having much luck in the field, I figured that you wouldn't mind watching my discovery while I go back to Starbase 182 and file my report. Hey, are you eating while I'm talking to you? Give me that.
Sorry.
Say, green jello with carrot shavings. I haven't had this since I left home.
But sir, I think you ought to know that...
Quiet, Lehigh. He's eating.
Shut up, the both of you, right now. This jello tastes funny.
He's gone mad. He's got space madness. We better go after him.
Okay. Hey, what's that thing right there?
You mean that natural arch that seems to be showing the History Channel?
Yeah, that thing. What is it?
I believe that who is it would be a more appropriate question.
Is that you that said that, Butch?
No. It must have been the natural arch over there. Okay, I'll play. Who are you, and what have you done with Zone Leader Hansen?
I am the guardian of forever. Hansen has entered through me into your world's past.
Entered through you?
Well, I guess we can get back to tracking now, huh, Lehigh?
No, we most certainly can't.
Huh?
We need to get Zone Leader Hansen back and cure his jello-induced space madness.
Come on now, Lehigh. He was a little weird before my mom's jello. Are we sure he's sick?
Where in our world's history is Hansen now, Guardian?
He was asking questions about Mormon history, and about lime jello in particular. He entered as I was showing him the Relief Society meeting, where sisters first began to experiment with lime jello.
Well, if he disturbs that meeting, the timeline of church history could be permanently changed. Let's go, Butch. Whoa! Will Zone Leader Hansen change church history? Can Butch and Lehigh get him to go before he does? Will the Relief Society let Hansen anywhere near their test kitchen? Tune in next time to hear Relief Society President Mulestein say,
I'm at a loss, sisters. We've tried shredded beets, cauliflower, radishes, eggplant, zucchini, and rutabaga. Nothing seems to go with this new lime jello stuff.
Excuse me, sister. I think we can help.
I don't think we should go against the Prime Directive, Bush.
How did you get in here? One wrong move and you'll see the business end of my skillet. Just like the last kid who wandered in here and tried to tell us how to conduct our business.
Other kid? Oh, hey, it's Zone Leader Hansen. She's knocked him out cold.
Nice going, ma'am. Wish I'd have been here to see it. Tell you what, we'll get him out of your way and you can go back to doing what you were doing. Oh, yeah, and you might want to try shredded carrots.
I warned you about meddling.
She's got a skillet. Run for it. Run! On the next liposuctioning episode of Space Elders!
7:05 right now as we broadcast live from our respective bunkers. There's a little light rain on Mount Doom, just so you know.
I don't
I
ever
just
open
went
the
and
curtain.
let Riley out, and I told her to hurry up and potty quick so she didn't get wet.
That's no way to treat your children.
It's my puppy.
Oh, your
But,
dog. Yeah.
Also broadcasting from her bunker is Mayor Erin Mendenhall, who's on the phone.
Good morning.
Good morning to you.
Salt Lake City Mayor Erin Mendenhall. I assume you're home.
I am. Just waiting for the next earthquake to rattle us all awake.
Did you feel it last night? Feel the earthquake?
I sure did.
Yeah, me too.
It seemed like a longer one than a lot of the other aftershock.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was a little bigger than
I'm
some
wondering, when do we stop calling them aftershocks?
of them. Well, it's a good question. I
Let's
don't
get
know.
our geologist friend on the phone and find
It's
out.
been a while, yeah.
Mayor Mendenhall, it's been a really challenging opening to your term as Salt Lake City Mayor, having to deal with all of this. How is it going so far in your estimation?
Yesterday was my 100-day mark, which is a normal thing that mayors measure, and we don't measure any day after that until the end, I think. And it was absolutely not the 100 days that I expected it to be. But, you know, this is what I signed up for, just whatever the city is going through, whatever the city needs. And the not surprising part is how incredible our community is, how great Salt Lake City employees are. They're really being very inventive and collaborative. They're flexible. And even this week, we're doing things we didn't know we could do and didn't imagine doing a week or two ago.
So with dealing with the coronavirus here in Salt Lake, you along with Jenny Wilson, the two of you were very strong in the orders to stay inside, to social distance, and there was some criticism, Chris Stewart among them, of your plan to let people sort of rat their neighbors out if they are not practicing social distancing. How did you deal with all of that?
We just roll with it. You know, there's people are going to complain, but the reality is, I hope people who complained ended up realizing, but maybe they didn't, that our 911 lines were getting backed up with people who wanted to complain that their neighbors seemed to be too close to the mailman. And we can't afford for that to happen. You can't afford for that to happen. Yeah. We need 911 to be functioning with emergencies. And so that was the impetus to open up a line that people could call. And there's a business line that goes to Salt Lake County Health Department, and then there's an online form on the SLC Mayor's website. We have a COVID-19 page, and you can see the Stay Safe, Stay Home complaints tab on there. Go there if you feel like you need to tell us what's happening in the public spaces. And we have more employees out and about doing those public checks. We aren't issuing any tickets, but that's a right we reserve.
What do you do, though? So let's say there's a big gathering of people at a park. What do city employees do about that if it comes to their attention?
Yeah, so we are not doing parking enforcement, which is something that I've undone in the last couple of proclamations we've done. So we're reutilizing our parking enforcement folks. Of course, our parks employees are out there, and sometimes our police officers are out there. If they see people that seem to be violating the social distancing, they'll go up and talk to them about it, let them know that it is a law. They do need to abide by that, and ask them to move along and break it up.
How's that been going? Does that go okay? I mean, people have been compliant?
Not necessarily with a good attitude, but yes, I understand they're mostly being compliant. We haven't, like I said, we haven't issued tickets yet, but that's something that under any emergency declaration in the city is enforceable with a Class B misdemeanor for violations. And because this is actually a county health order, that can go up to a Class A misdemeanor for egregious violations.
What if I see my neighbor's got a bunch of balloons out in front of their house and a bunch of cars pull up and a bunch of people going into their house for a birthday party, which they think is okay because, hey, it's just family.
I think that you should probably call the county health department or the public, go onto our public spaces form on the city website. And, I don't know what your relationship is like with your neighbors. I know from air quality work that it can be uncomfortable for some people to tap on the windshield of an idling vehicle and say, hey, did you know there's a no idling ordinance here? But talking to people can go a long way if you feel comfortable doing that. Maybe you don't go into the party that they're having at the moment, but to say, we're all in this together. And I saw that research that says droplets can travel 27 feet over my fence if you sneeze, or whatever whatever research you want to point to.
We're talking with Salt Lake City Mayor Erin Mendenhall, by the way, and I wanted to give you a chance to talk about while you're doing other work, while you're dealing, you and the city are dealing with the coronavirus. What other things are you doing that you're proud of or want people to pay a little attention to?
Well, thank you, but I really want to tell you the two things that I want the people to know at this point.
Okay.
Yesterday, we asked residents, anyone in the city who's able to make homemade masks, you can make them out of T-shirts even, to donate them to Salt Lake City for our employees. And at all of our 13 fire stations throughout the city, there's now a bin outside. It's a clean, not used before garbage bin, the recycling bins that we have. They're marked and labeled for collection of masks. And we're picking those up every night. We'll launder them. And those frontline employees that I'm telling you about, those former parking enforcement people who are now doing public engagement, parks employees and other folks, waste and recycling, who sometimes come into contact with residents. We want them to have 2 masks is our goal, one that they can wear and another they can be laundering. But you know that those personal protective equipment pieces are really hard to come by right now.
Yeah.
And of course, they're going to the healthcare workers where they need to be. So if residents want to and have the means to make masks and donate them, please bring them to the Salt Lake City Fire Department. Drop them off in the bin. You don't need to disturb the firefighters. And we would be really appreciative of that. I've seen that people want to help, and that's part of the character I'm so proud of our city that's clearly coming out. People care about one another.
Well, that's great.
And then was there one other thing? I think you said 2 things, didn't you?
Yes, the other part is that we're helping the school district who is feeding families. Something I didn't know about a lot of food banks is that you need to show proof of identity in order to receive a family-sized food box. Show that you're a resident and show that you have extended or family members in your household. And this puts off a lot of families for several reasons, families that don't have that identification or that feel uncomfortable sharing that. The school district is feeding families in the city. We're giving them a box of food or giving kids age 0 to 18 a meal, no matter if you're a school district resident or student or not. And they are not asking for ID. So this is a fantastic way for people in the community who need food to connect with it. You can go to the school district's website to find out where and when they do that. But they needed more people to help pack the boxes. They do have enough food at this point. So I've asked our city employees who are not doing the normal jobs they would but are still being paid to basically go to work with the school district. We would be working from a Salt Lake City space to pack those boxes safely and at a safe distance from one another. But we want to amplify that great effort that's getting food into a lot of the communities that need that kind of help right now, and they're doing it without the hurdle of having to prove your residency. So Salt Lake City we're working in a dynamic way. We're still issuing building permits, business licenses. We are still working as a city, and we want to help you. So if people need things, Salt Lake City residents need us to know something, please get onto the Salt Lake City Mayor's website, reach out to us, let us know how we can work with you.
Mayor Mendenhall, thanks a lot for taking some time with us. I would say we have a hell of a mayor in Salt Lake City.
I would agree.
I think so.
I'm blushing. Thank you.
Let's speak again maybe next week if we could do that.
All right.
It'd be my pleasure. Thank you.
All right. Bye-bye.
Thank you very much. Okay, traffic, Gina.
Well, we are having a little bit of weather happening now. Rain in parts of the valley, and I-80 actually, Parley Summit's getting some snow. Luckily, not a lot of heavy traffic to deal with that, but something to think about if you're one of our essential workers that's moving about the valley right now. Just give yourself a little extra time and slow down, but no accidents to report. If you see something, though, you could report it. You'll feel very important, and I'll even give you a shout out if you give me your name. I'll say, thanks, Philip. I don't know, maybe
one of our
not out
traffic
driving.
tipsters.
33986. Feldman's Deli, Utah's only authentic Jewish deli, now offering takeout and curbside service. For more information, visit feldmansdeli.com.
People are texting in saying that they want to help. What's the city website that they can go to get information?
I think it's just slc.gov, but I'll check on it and let you know in the news.
Why don't we tweet it out?
Coming up after this, people want to know how they can help. All right, we do have round one of your boners coming up.
Here are the candidates. Boner candidate number 1. I have my cow graduation diploma right here. Boner candidate number 2. I said courtesy flush. And boner candidate number 3. Don't you know who I am?
All right, so round one of your boners coming up along with Big Boy News and Opinioendo right after these. ShamrockPlumbing.net.
30 years in business along the Wasatch Front, Shamrock Plumbing. Shamrock Plumbing has certified licensed technicians, which is not the case with many other plumbers out there. Shamrock has done plumbing jobs in all of our homes, all 3 of us anyway.
I trust them completely.
Yeah, no job too big or too small, from typical plumbing emergencies like drain cleaning and leaky faucets to bigger jobs like plumbing or remodeling. Or if you're building a new home or a business, they do that kind of plumbing as well. Shamrock has an entire department dedicated to water heaters and water softeners. So it doesn't matter whether it's residential, commercial, or standard water heaters, tankless water heaters, all of that. Shamrock Plumbing is the place you need to go. So if you're looking for a licensed professional plumber you can trust, Shamrock Plumbing. Give them a call, 801-295-1690, or their website, shamrockplumbing.net.
It is the 23rd century. Humans have left the lowly confines of planet Earth and have sought their destiny among the stars. While many things have changed, one constant remains: the need for young men to venture forth and do the work of the Lord. This is the tale of 2 such men who at the age of 19 have answered the call of their general authorities and are embarking on a 2-year mission to spread the gospel throughout the galaxy. This is the story of Space Elmer! Today, we find Butch and Lehigh on Starbase 182 around lunchtime.
Hey, Lehigh, what's up? You haven't been yourself lately. You seem a little under the weather. Here, I replicated you some lunch. This should put you back on your feet. It's your favorite.
Oh, plomeek soup?
No, macaroni and cheese with little hot dog bits in it. Man, you are sick. I'm taking you to the sick bay.
Are you sure that would be the logical thing to do?
Huh? Come on!
Very interesting.
What is it, Doc? What's wrong with Lehigh?
Elder Christiansen here is suffering from plateau.
Plateau? What on earth is that?
Not plateau, plateau. The blood fever. It's not a birth, my dear Butch. It's a Vulcan disorder. Lehigh here is in the early stages of Ponfar.
But Doc, look at my companion. I mean, his ears aren't pointy. The blood sample you took from him was red, not green. He's not a Vulcan.
Have the 2 of you come in contact with any Vulcans recently?
Well, we met with that nice Ambassador Spock fella.
Was there anything unusual about this meeting?
No, we talked for a while. He mind-melded with Lehigh and then sent us packing like everybody else.
Mind-melded with a Vulcan? Oh, dear.
Well, he said it would be the fastest way for us to tell him about the gospel.
Now, what's this got to do with Lehigh losing his appetite and then resetting the environmental controls in our apartment up to Moab standard temperatures?
Ponfar is the Vulcan mating ritual. Unless the individual who's suffering from the blood fever gets to Vulcan in time, He will die.
I still don't understand how Lehi contracted this blood fever thing anyway.
The Vulcan who did the mind meld must have transferred it into the Lehi's mind during the meld. No matter how he contracted it, you must get to Vulcan within the next 72 hours or your companion will be dead.
Okay, Vulcan it is. Come on, Lehi, we better get going.
But Vulcan isn't in our Tracton area. We're not supposed to go outside of this quadrant. You know the rules. Zone Leader Hansen would never approve of us making a personal visit to Vulcan.
Oh, to heck with Hansen. They can send us both home if they want to. I just want to make sure you go home breathing.
Will our elders get to Vulcan in time to save Lehi? Will Zone Leader Hansen get them sent home for leaving the quadrant? Will Ambassador Spock apologize for giving Lehi Bucktoe? What is exactly in Plomeek soup anyway? Tune in next time to hear Butch say...
Hold on, Lehi. Just a couple more hours and we'll be on Vulcan.
Butch, wouldn't it be more logical to reduce our speed to warp 6 in order to make the best possible speed while reducing the stress on the dilithium crystals?
Oh.
On the next mind-melding episode of Space Elders!
.722 right now, and it is slc.gov is the website to go to if you want to help out with any of those situations that Mayor Mendenhall was talking about.
I was right. It's slc.gov, did you say?
Yes.
Okay.
All right, so let's get to round one of your boner voting. Here we go. 3 news stories. These are examples of bad, stupid, or funny human behavior. And you will decide with your votes of these 3 candidates which one is the worst, which one deserves to go forward to boner fight and possibly become boner of the day. If it wins here, it's not boner of the day yet. It has to go up against the winner of round 2's voting. We'll do this again at 8:20 with 3 different candidates. And we'll take both of our winners and put them against each other for boner fight at 9:20 this morning. That's when boner of the day is decided. Right now, you got to pick your champion for round 1 so we can move it forward. Here we go. 2 candidates now, a third after the news. Once you've heard all 3, then you will vote. One of you lucky random boner voters will receive.
Can't buy it, gotta win it, pick it up someday, Radio from Hell boner t-shirt.
Boner candidate number 1. Well, I have my Cal graduation diploma right here. Utah congressional candidate Kerry Gibson, a former Weber County Commissioner, legislator, and State Agricultural Commissioner, says on his campaign website and literature that he attended Utah State University, where he earned his dairy herdsman degree.
Okay.
But during a background check by the Salt Lake Tribune, the USU's register office said, well, Mr. Gibson never received a degree of any type from the university. It confirmed he was a student there for 3 semesters in the early 90s.
Isn't that enough?
Mr. Gibson says he did not intend to mislead anyone and that he has a certificate of completion from the short-term dairy herdsman program, which is no longer offered. I never said that I have a 4-year degree, he said. I specifically said that it is a dairy herdsman degree, and that's exactly what it is. A dean at Utah State University says that Mr. Gibson calling his certificate a degree is a nothing
stretch.
burger, in his words. But many of Gibson's opponents disagree, and David Magleby, emeritus political science professor at Brigham Young University, offered harsh criticism. From an academic perspective, to represent a certificate like this as a degree is a gross misrepresentation of what universities do when they award degrees.
And that's exactly why he worded it that way on his resume. He wanted people to leap and make that conclusion that he achieved it.
Yeah. So, for instance, me, I went to graduate school and I did all of the coursework, 3 years of coursework for graduate school. But in order to get my degree, my master's degree, I had to submit a written thesis, a written paper, a master's thesis, which I never did. So I didn't receive a degree.
You wrote it. You just
I did
never
write
sent it in,
Yeah,
which is ridiculous. You did all the work.
No, I sent it in one time. I've told the story before. They sent it back to me with all of these BS corrections on it. You know, just stupid, picky things that I just went, "Nah, that's it." And I put it in a suitcase and never sent it back.
But you don't say you have a master's degree.
No. My point is, now, I think in the past, it has said in some of my information that I do have a master's degree, but I found out the way you can say it. I have a master. How do you put it? I have a master's completion. There's a way to put it that says, I forget what the terminology is now, that says you did the coursework, you just never got the degree.
And it leads people to believe that you have the degree, which is exactly what this guy did.
Well, not quite. Yeah. It's a little different. It's a little different.
You did the work. He didn't do the work.
He went to a 3-week class or something, then got a certificate that said he knows how to milk cows. So that's basically anyway. Boner candidate number 1. I have my cow graduation diploma right here. Boner candidate number 2. I said courtesy flush. Oh, I have an MFA equivalency degree. I think that's
equivalency.
I don't say degree. I don't say degree. I say I have an MFA equivalency. An argument over passing gas and a request for a courtesy flush after using a jail toilet has led to a man beating his cellmate senseless. According to the Monroe County Sheriff's Office in Florida, deputies said Guilford Joseph Abshire was sharing a cell with a 65-year-old man on April 6 when the man got upset with him for passing gas. A few minutes later, around 7:30 in the morning, Mr. Abshire used their shared toilet, and afterward, the victim asked Mr. Abshire, "Please, could you provide a courtesy flush to help with the overwhelming odor?" At that point, deputies said, Mr. Abshire started kicking the victim who was on the bottom bunk. The man got up, but then Mr. Abshire grabbed him by the throat, threw him across the cell before deputies came in and detained him. The victim, who was in jail for violating DUI and drug possession probation, suffered 3 broken ribs and a broken nose. I mean, he should have listened. I said courtesy flush. Coming up in a moment, boner candidate number 3. Don't you know who I am?
All right, boner candidate number 3 for round 1 coming up after this big boy news and opinioendo brought to you by
Woohoo! Lucky's Auto Credit, 77 cents in a job, get you a car. That's awesome. They'll front the tax, title, license, 77 cents total to drive away today. Apply online at luckysautocredit.com. Woohoo!
Are people clamoring for a reunion of the TV show Chuck?
Chuck.
Clamoring is a strong word.
I would say it was a cult favorite, yeah?
Cast reunion is planned. Does Chuck still know how to kung fu? We will find out. EW is launching a series of reunions benefiting our community and bringing joy and comfort while we are #United at Home together. And they're starting with Chuck, the cast of NBC's beloved, it says here, Gina, spy comedy. Creators Chris Fedak and Josh Schwartz are reuniting with a special virtual table read on Zoom, benefiting charity, and fans will get to pick the episode script. Plus, fans will get the chance to participate and read along with the rest of the cast. For the chance to get the cast in the table read and vote on your favorite episode, you can go to EW's social media channels. That's kind of an interesting thing they're trying to do there. I'll be interested to see how well it works. But I guess that show was popular enough among some people that they'll really be into that.
I know it always seems to come up when we're doing FanX programming panels. People submit that they want a Chuck panel.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
I think it was only 2 seasons, I think, wasn't it? Something
yeah,
like
it didn't
that?
last long, no.
Yeah. Amy Schumer and her husband Chris Fisher had to change their 11-month-old son Gene's name. And there's a pretty interesting reason why.
It's funny.
So Amy announced
parents need to think of these things before you name your kids.
Amy announced the news on her new podcast, Amy Schumer Presents, 3 Girls, 1 Keith, where she spoke with her longtime friend, Claudia O'Doherty. On the podcast, Amy said, "So do you guys know that Gene, our baby's name, is officially changed? It's now Gene David Fisher. It used to be, so they changed the middle name. And I guess the middle name they must have named after Dave Attell.
Mm-hmm.
Because
they're good friends.
They're good friends. So the baby's name was Gene Attell Fisher. But then we realized by accident, Claudia, her friend, said, my mom pointed out to me that your baby's middle name makes his name Genital Fisher. Genital Fisher. Genital. She said, we didn't realize. And
I'm glad they realize he's not even a year old yet, and I'm glad they've realized this before he gets to school and kids have a field day with that.
It'll be a fun story for him to tell someday, too. You know what my middle name used to be, don't you? That's how I would handle it.
I'm being told that Chuck was 5 seasons, 91 episodes, I'll have you know.
Oh, sorry. An aftershock with an initial 4.2 magnitude rattled nerves along the Wasatch Front last night, just short of a month after a 5.7 magnitude earthquake caused millions in damage. Tuesday night's earthquake was centered 4 kilometers northeast of Magna, the same area impacted by the initial quake of March 18. Hundreds of aftershocks have followed. This 4.2 magnitude aftershock was the strongest in more than a week. Seismologists at the University of Utah say, well, get used to it. We could experience more of these aftershocks.
I can't take any more.
Well, you may have to.
I am up to here.
A man believed to be high on meth is accused of beating a man to death in his apartment over the weekend in Salt Lake in what police are calling an extremely brutal killing. William Dennis Bradley of Salt Lake, arrested for investigation of murder, vehicle theft, assault on a police officer, assault on a health care provider, assault on a prisoner, 2 counts of assault. The investigation began 1 p.m. Friday when Salt Lake police were notified that a golf cart used by maintenance workers was stolen from the Jefferson School apartments on West Temple. Police found Mr. Bradley driving the golf cart down Main Street. When stopped, Mr. Bradley, they discovered he was covered in blood. In talking with Bradley, he said he'd been in a fight with the Terminator and had killed the Terminator.
Wow.
Due to the amount of blood on Bradley, officers went to his apartment to investigate, and during that check, they encountered a deceased person in the bedroom. The body was identified as Robert Carter, who was believed to be homeless. Bradley killed him in an extremely violent and brutal manner, police said. Bradley was taken to a local hospital where he became combative and assaulted the emergency room doctor. He assaulted 2 security guards and a police officer. He was acting in an extremely bizarre fashion. They said, it's likely that this was methamphetamine. This is good news. We're probably going to change the driver's license renewal procedures. If you have to go renew your driver's license, you've had to do it in person in the past.
Mm-hmm.
Well, they're going to try and figure out a way to do it so that you don't have to go in, that you can do it
you a sticker or
online. Something. They're coming up. They're streamlining procedures so that you don't have to go in. But right now, you still do, I believe. The pandemic has hit Russia, and it's brought up a very bad problem in Russia. Yes, people are dying of coronavirus, but also people are turning to this old problem that they've had for decades in Russia, heavy vodka drinking. Across the world, the coronavirus pandemic has sparked fears of increased alcohol abuse, but it's really happening in Russia. Despite the country's passion for inebriants, that's been one of the main public health problems in Russia for decades. Is people suffering from acute alcoholism, and now they kind of had gotten stamped it down a little bit. Now it's coming back in force. Donald Trump, his claims of complete authority over everything has been rejected along every ideological line, and so he's reversed himself. He's no longer saying that he has the power to tell all of the governors what to do. He's saying this: the governors are responsible. They have to take charge. The governors will have to be very, very respectful of the presidency, but they will be taking charge.
I'm president and you're not.
Okay. That's it.
Weather, traffic.
Well, it's wet right now. Carrie, look out your window. Is it wet?
Uh-huh.
Yeah. Snow actually up on I-80 and Parley's Canyon, but no slowage or accidents associated with that because you essential workers know how to drive. It's the rest of us that have trouble commuting and whatnot. There's no accidents is what I'm saying. But if you see something and you want to share it, you can always send it to us at 33986. Now more than ever, we need fun ways to stay entertained at home. Haster Games has hundreds of great board games. Haster Games, 6831 South State, and HasterGames.com. Call ahead for curbside service.
Here's boner candidate number 3. Don't you know who I am? A federal judge in Florida shot down an emergency request from former Arkansas Governor Mike Huckabee and fellow beachfront property owners to be exempted from a public health order that cut off beach access during the pandemic. Huckabee, who of course is the father of President Trump's former White House spokeswoman, who will burn in hell, Sarah Huckabee Sanders, argued that a county ordinance blocking him from access to the Gulf of Mexico seafront behind his estimated $3.3 million home was a violation of his constitutional rights. U.S. District Judge Roger Vinson on Monday denied the request from Huckabee and more than a dozen other wealthy plaintiffs for an injunction against Walton County, Florida. Florida Governor Ron DeSantis put in place a 30-day stay-at-home order for the state, but did not close beaches. The next day, Walton County said to their residents, "Well, the mayor is full of it. We're closing our beaches," and there are a lot of them.
The governor's full of it.
Yeah, and in Walton County, there are a lot. I've been in that area. There are a lot of beaches there. There's lots of beach. The county said that measure was designed to address a recent uptick in the number of crowds gathering on beaches. Huckabee and other beachfront property owners sued several days later. They alleged that the county had unconstitutionally deprived them of their property without compensation and violated their due process rights. But the judge said, no. The county can do that. They can control it because the health department has supremacy in this instance. Boner candidate number 3. Don't you know who I am?
Do you know who I am?
He's the mayor in Jaws. Let's review the first 2 and vote.
Boner candidate number 1. I have my Cal graduation diploma right here. A Utah congressional candidate claiming he earned a college degree really completed a certificate program about milking cows, I guess. Boner candidate number 2. I said courtesy flush. A Florida man attacking his cellmate who asked him for a courtesy flush because he was stinking the place up. And boner candidate number 3, don't you know who I am?
Okay, let's get to it. Now, I'm going to give you all of the contact information. This is for boner voting, but as soon as we award the boner, that's when you can start lining up to ask our Dr. Cobble a question. If you have any questions about coronavirus and venturing outside, getting tested, things like that, he can answer all those questions. So start lining up your questions after we award round 1 of your boners. Right now, we need you to vote for round 1 of your boners. Here we go. 1, 2, or 3. Remember your candidate number, the one that you think should win. Put that number, that single digit, in the message of a text, and then text that to 33986. Or you can call the producer's booth, 877-602-9696. Use your voice to vote. Or go online, x96.com, look for the box that says Boner Voting April 15, 2020, and vote there. All right, if you don't see that box, refresh. It should appear. Now remember, this is not the boner of the day. This is just round 1. Round 2 coming up at 8:20 with 3 more, 3 different candidates. We'll get the winner of round 2, put it up against the winner of this round. At 9:20 is when boner of the day is decided by you with Boner Fight. This is round 1. You have until the end of these messages to vote. Let's go. Spine. Spell it with me now. S-P-I-N-E. Spine. And now we'll use it in some dialogue, featuring our 2 Utah men, LeVar and LeGrand. Elder LeGrand Ardun Jr. has called his friend LeVar with worries on his mind. Never fails. It's always during my favorite show. Yellow.
LeVar?
Yeah.
It's LeGrand.
LeGrand, how's it going?
I'm a worried man, LeVar. I don't know what to do. It's about Midge.
Well, how is the lovely Mrs. Dunn LeGrand?
Well, LeVar, she ain't herself these days.
What do you mean she ain't herself? Well, who is she then?
Well, she's Midge, but she's not Midge.
Huh?
Well, first off, she's been losing weight, LeVar. She may have knocked off close to 100 pounds. She had to go out and buy a whole new set of moo-moos. And they're designer moo-moos, too. The Don Ho collection.
Well, that is odd, LeGrand.
And she started to wear makeup again.
Huh?
She hasn't worn makeup since we got married, LeVar. A woman with 16 kids doesn't have any place wearing makeup, LeVar.
That is strange.
And it's not even New Skin or Mary Kay, LeVar. It's that kind of makeup that Claudia Schifter wears.
Anything else?
Well, she covered up the I Heart Family Home Evening bumper sticker on the back of the Suburban with one that says, "Mean people suck."
Something is definitely up, LeGrand.
I know. So, I've been kind of trying to track down her whereabouts to see what's up.
You mean you've been spying on Midge?
Well, I wouldn't call it spying exactly. Just keeping tabs, you know, like waiting down the street from the house and then following her car.
Spying. That's what that is, LeGrand. Spying. Well, did you find out anything?
Well, when she said she was going to Relief Society, I followed her, and she ended up at the Deseret Gym. I think she may be working out, LeVar.
Well, mayhaps she's just trying to get in shape and improve her quality of life. Mayhaps she's tired of being as big as a Winnebago.
She's the mother of all my 16 kids, LeVar. She's not supposed to improve her quality of life. Her role as my spiritual partner is to improve my quality of life.
You find out anything else when you was spying on her?
Well, yesterday I caught her waxing her legs, shaving her armpit hair.
The hell you say? We got big trouble, LeGrand. I'm going to jump in the truck and be right over. That is, if the truck will start. You know, she might be trying to become a feminist or something worse. She hasn't said anything about, taking night classes or the like, has she?
No. What are we going to do, LeVar?
Well, we're going to keep spying on her, LeGrand. Let's just hope that we don't find out that she's going to the symphony or the ballet or nothing like that. Tell you what, though, if we do, you pack them kids up in that Suburban and you skedaddle out of there. Is 7:44 right now, and we do have Dr. Cobble. He will be taking your questions, so start lining up now. If you want to talk to him about coronavirus, any questions you may have from a medical perspective, he can certainly answer it. 877-602-9696, or text in your questions to 33986. Right now, let's award round one of your boners.
And that's brought to you in part by Fried Rice.
And Feldman's Deli, Utah's only authentic Jewish deli, now offering takeout and curbside service. For more information, go to feldmansdeli.com.
Boner candidate number one, I have my Cal graduation diploma right here. A Utah congressional candidate who claims he earned a college degree at Utah State University really just completed a little certificate program about how to milk cows. Boner candidate number two, I said courtesy flush. Florida man attacking his cellmate because he did not provide a courtesy flush in the cell that they share. And boner candidate number three, don't you know who I am? Mike Huckabee petitioning a judge saying, you can't close down my Florida beachfront property. The county can't do that. Because, well, yes, they can, Mike Huckabee. We don't care who you are. They can do it. Shiloh won a boner T-shirt, and the winner was number three, don't you know who I am, Mike Huckabee.
That's your winner of round one's boner voting. It now goes forward to Boner Dome. Round two coming up at 8:20 with three different candidates, and we'll get a winner there, and we'll take both of those winners and put them against each other into Boner Dome at 9:20 this morning is when you will actually decide boner of the day.
Dr. Cobble there?
Yes, he is.
Yes.
Hi, good morning, Dr. Cobble. How are you?
Good morning. Doing well, thank you.
Dr. Cobble here can answer your questions about coronavirus, or maybe there's some other sort of side health issues that are being caused by this or popping up because of this that we could discuss as well. First of all, Dr. Cobble, I should just mention and talk about you and your family and your office workers at your clinic. Everybody's doing well so far?
We are, thank you. I hope you are as well.
Yes, we are. Do we have any questions yet, or should we go? I've got a couple of my own here.
Yeah, let's start with yours. We got some. We got a text question.
So I was reading this article about the benefits of drinking whiskey, Dr. Cobble, and it says if you drink too much, it's bad. But it says whiskey does these things. It fights cancer. It lowers your risk of dementia. It lowers your risk of heart disease, and it has no fat, carbs, and almost no sugar, and it's good for colds. Is any of that true?
I don't think any of that's true. I wonder, you guys have me on to sober you up in the morning, and I know that all of you are drinking, so I'm the sobering person.
I wish.
Yeah. Well, let's ask about testing then. What the testing situation here in Utah, as you understand it, what are the protocols and what do people need to know?
Well, I think that testing's available. So if people currently, we just have testing for acute patients. We don't have the antibody testing yet available to see if people have past exposure or immunity. But the acute testing's been available since maybe the 13th of March, and you can get testing anywhere you want. If your doctor doesn't have access to testing, then go to an urgent care or one of the testing clinics or call around to other doctors. But we have testing available at our clinic as well.
Yeah, and
do you have to have some sort of pre-authorization to show up at one of these testing sites, or can you just say, I have a fever, I want to see if I have this, and go?
Yeah, and that's tough. I think you probably should call ahead. I'm not sure if people have different, people don't have to call my office if they want to come in, but they're patients of mine. So I think it's probably best to call ahead and make sure that the place you're going to go to has the testing available.
The drive-up testing center that I haven't gone to it for testing, but I've been there twice. You can drive up there, but they have signs all over the place that say, here's the phone number, call us, and you can just stay in your car. You don't have to leave. Call us and tell us what you're here for, what your symptoms are, that sort of thing. And I think you can just get tested pretty easily that way with no doctor's note or anything.
Yeah, I think the bad thing is a lot of people, again, this mimics the cold because it's in the cold virus family, and half the people that are being tested just have the common cold. Half the people being tested may have SARS-CoV-2, which is what we're dealing with here. And again, typically this is going to be a little more dynamic than the common cold. It's going to be pretty significant muscle aches, fever, and then quite a significant fatigue. Unfortunately, in Utah, the community that we've seen affected the most is actually the Latino Hispanic community, and like many places in the United States, the communities that are more centralized, maybe poorer, they may not have some of the resources that they have to live together in smaller areas. They may have multiple people working out of the home, going to different work sites. They may have family gatherings, or church may be very important to them where they can gather with people. They're just in settings where they could have been highly sensitive to catching this infection.
We've got some very good basic questions here in the texts that I think we can get to pretty rapid fire. I want to know how people are still getting COVID-19 when we're all staying home and not traveling.
Well, we're not all staying home. That's the problem.
So that's a good one.
Yeah, I mean, I have friends that ask the same thing, and people aren't following the rules. They're going out and getting close to other people.
Yeah, only about a third of us are staying home. Here's a good one. Yeah. Will mosquitoes transfer coronavirus once it warms up?
Not that we're aware of. There's no evidence to support that, and that would be pretty unusual.
Okay, here's another one. I've heard a couple of people say, and there's your problem right there. I've heard a couple of people say smoking lowers your risk of COVID-19. Is there any truth to that? It seems ridiculous.
No, there's no truth to that.
Please ask about ibuprofen and how it interacts with coronavirus.
What?
Ibuprofen.
Yeah,
I've read some stuff about this.
There was some worry over a month ago that maybe the non-steroidals could make people worse. There's no evidence of that, so you can use ibuprofen for the muscle aches or the fever. You can use acetaminophen, Tylenol. Again, there's some fear that oral steroids, but not inhaled asthma steroids being a problem.
Okay. If someone is currently on antibiotics and is experiencing COVID symptoms, would the antibiotic alter the results of the test?
It will not. The test will be the same. The test is measuring for the viral genome.
Okay. Here's one. I've heard on the news that people who have recovered from COVID are getting tested positive again. Are they finding that you can, in fact, get this more than once?
Yeah, so that's the tough part, and that's some data coming out of Asia, South Korea, other places that some people have retested positive. We don't know what that means because some of those tests are very poor. Sensitivity of some of that testing could be 50 to 70%. So, and the specificity may not be very accurate. So it actually may not be SARS-CoV-2 that they're testing positive for. And again, I think without more data, we don't know if those people have just a mild reinfection or if it's dramatic again. But I think that there's not a good answer to that. And until we really have a vaccine that could give people full immunity, I think people need to just follow the rules with the social distancing, and if you're sick, stay away from people.
Are you confident, Dr. Cobble, that that there will be a vaccine at some point?
Yeah, I mean, we've had vaccines for polio and measles and mumps and other viruses, so I think that I just think it's going to be 12 to 18 months, unfortunately, and I think for the next 12 to 18 months there's going to be a lot of uncertainty. I think we're going to have antibody testing to see if people in the convalescent phase, whether they're, they have maybe some immunity that have been prior exposed. There are over 70 companies developing that commercially, and I think we'll see that sometime here in April or May where people can go into their doctor and get a blood test to see if they may have been exposed to this in January, February, March. There are a lot of people speculating, I had this back in October or I had this in January, and we won't know until there's immunity antibody testing.
That happened during the plague. People used to say, I think I had the plague a month ago, but it was a very mild form of the plague.
I read this interesting thing about this researcher. He was Dr. Ho. I can't think of his first name now. But he was one of the original researchers with HIV/AIDS research. and a pioneer in that field, developing these drug cocktails that keep HIV patients alive. And he's now turned to looking at this coronavirus and pandemic viruses. He said something along the lines of, he's not going to be happy until we find some vaccine that just takes care of every coronavirus that's known. One shot.
Well, I think that'll be fairly impossible. I think that we can with this SARS-CoV-2, and I think that was Dr. Heidi Ho, might be who that is. Yeah.
No, it can't be.
That was
not
terrible.
Dr. Heidi Ho.
It's a dude.
But I think that we will get a vaccine for this particular, this particular virus does not appear to mutate easily, and I think we can isolate this particular virus. But coronavirus itself is just a common cold virus. Unfortunately, this is a very specific SARS-CoV-2, COVID-19, very specific and quite dangerous, high mortality.
Yeah.
All right. We do have to take a break, and people are starting to line up on the phones, so 877-602-9696, or text your question into 33986. We'd prefer your phone calls, but there you go. Traffic, Gina.
Yeah, we do have a crash to tell you about eastbound I-80 at milepost 138. That's about 2 miles east of Lambs Canyon, and it is off to the left shoulder. This could be due to weather, because they are seeing some snow I-80 up through Parleys. That's the only accident being reported, though, and no one is reporting them to us via text. But, of course, if you see something, you can send it to us, 33986.
All right, your questions with Dr. Cobble coming up after these, so get them in.
I did a little research. It's not Dr. Heidi Ho. His first name is Westward.
No.
It's
David.
Also not a good joke.
It's David.
Sorry.
All right. Okay. We'll take a break. We'll be back right after these. Hoops Vision Correction, HOOPES Vision.com.
Have you heard of the Visian ICL procedure? You probably have if you listen to us for any length of time, because Hoops Vision provides this procedure, and Carrie and I are both just very happy with the LASIK surgeries we've had at Hoops Vision. And
absolutely. Love it.
Yeah, many of our family members as well. Well, this is an alternative to LASIK, and it's not a surprise. Hoops Vision is the national leader in this amazing advanced vision correction. This is a contact lens, a Visian lens that's implanted, and you can get rid of your glasses or your contact lenses. It's a permanent solution, or a more permanent solution than glasses and contacts. And apparently it's removable as well, which I think is amazing. So call Hoops Vision today, see if their new Visian implantable contact lens is right for you. It's 877-30-LASIK. That's the phone number. Or book it online. No obligation appointment, hoopsvision.com. There's a great little video that I tweeted early this morning at RFH Bill.
Well, let me go look.
It's a little video of some mayor somewhere in Wisconsin, I think.
Yeah.
He's doing his Groundhog's Day thing with
Like
Jimmy
you.
the Groundhog.
Jimmy, that's
Sun
not a
Prairie-
groundhog name.
It's
not.
Why is Jimmy not a ground? Phil is a groundhog name.
Sure.
Why is Jimmy not a groundhog name? It's fine. If
Awfully defensive
Princess
about Jimmy.
Good God, Gina, you derail the story. Jimmy, that's not a groundhog. Why does Carrie Fisher call her dog Gary? It's fine. Anyway, Sun Prairie, Wisconsin, Jimmy the Groundhog, and the mayor, Jonathan Freund, and he's an idiot. And I love the way they wrote this story on, what is it, Gawker or Newsfeed it's called. Gawker's Newsfeed, yeah. Low-rent Punxsutawney Phil impersonator Jimmy the Groundhog has the annual task of predicting each February whether Sun Prairie, Wisconsin will experience 6 more weeks of winter. This year, the job got to him a little bit as he whispered his prognostication into Mayor Jonathan Freund's ear. The weather will be, got your ear, sucker, I'm biting your damn ear off. How do you like me now?
He gets a hold of it too.
Yeah, he does.
He gets a good chomp in there.
Yeah. You watch the
He
watch the
keeps
little
going. The
video.
mayor keeps going, though. He doesn't stop.
Yeah, flinching from the savage attack on his soundy flaps, Freund attempted to translate the bite from groundhog to English. He didn't see his shadow, the shaken mayor stammered, so it will be in early spring. Jimmy's handler is obviously concerned about the integrity of the little biter's predictive record, later clarified that he had actually been attempting to indicate that winter would last another 6 weeks. It is Wisconsin, after all.
So the mayor got it wrong altogether.
Yeah. The mayor's office responded that only the mayor can translate Jimmy's prediction, the Milwaukee Sentinel-Journal reports. But it's a funny video. Watch the little
My
video.
question is, what kind of a mayor name is Jonathan? I mean, really?
It's a fine
that's
mayor
a
name.
terrible mayor
It's a
name.
fine mayor name.
No, that's a terrible name.
Jimmy is not a good name for a groundhog. Jimmy's a nice guy. Groundhogs are mean.
Gino, why don't you just shut up?
A texter points out Jimmy the Groundhog was part of the Gambino family.
Exactly.
That's your confusion. So
What?
Jimmy
Getting
is a
awfully
perfectly
defensive.
fine name for a groundhog. Who died and made you the namer of all things?
Not the namer of all things.
You sure act like it. No, Val Kilmer is not dead.
Yet.
And what kind of a name is Val for a Kilmer?
Exactly.
The Kilmers never named their children Val. What's wrong with them?
we are talking with Dr. Cobble about COVID-19 and what's real and what's not and how you treat it. And people are calling in, 877-602-9696. We prefer your phone calls, but if you want to text your questions, 33986 is where you send that to. Let's go to Jason. Hello,
Hey, Jason. Go ahead.
Hey, doctor. So my question is this, is that along with the Zika virus a few years back, we were told not to reproduce during that time just because of Zika having adverse effects on birth. Is there any correlation there? I mean, has the COVID-19 been found in sperm? Or are parents supposed to be incubated? And what's the word on that right now?
Should you not be having babies right now? Is that...
I figure maybe with this pandemic, we'll be delivering a lot of babies in about 8 months, right?
Yeah.
Probably a good chance of that. This is a respiratory virus, so again, I think this is something that is spread respiratorily. I wouldn't think about it being in other body fluids, so you should be safe.
Okay.
So go ahead and make a baby, Jason.
Go ahead. Procreate.
All right. Thanks.
All right. See ya.
Let's see. Here's an interesting one. How about lemon water and having a higher pH in your system for contracting COVID-19?
What?
These are people genuinely just are hearing things from their friends, and I think it's important that we get some of this
If you
stuff
drink
cleared
lemon
up.
water and someone with COVID coughs in your face, it's not going to stop you from getting COVID.
Are you sure? Are you sure?
I don't know. I should defer to Dr. Cobble. I
Please.
shouldn't answer
He's-
this for him, but
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of anecdotal stuff out there. I think lemon water is probably healthy. I don't think it's going to prevent you from getting the virus. And again, do the important prevention type measures. Carrie mentioned treatment. The treatment for this is avoiding contracting it, catching it. So follow the rules that have been in place.
Dr. Cobble, what's the importance? Do we have another call, by the way?
Not yet.
877-602-9696 if you want to call in a question for Dr. Michael Cobble. What's the importance of a saliva test? Looks like a couple of Utah companies have developed saliva tests. Rutgers University is working on saliva tests. Looks like they may be ready. Why is that important?
To see if they have the infection, you mean?
Yeah, apparently.
Well, again, this virus can live in the lung tissue, so you can get a specimen from the lung tissue. It's called a bronchoalveolar lavage. It lives in the sinus cavity of the nose, so you can get a specimen from the nose, or it lives in the mouth, so you can get a specimen from the mouth. You could do a quick spit test, I guess, a saliva test, and test for it. There's a lot of genetic testing done through saliva where people do DNA testing. And again, the test, the PCR for this is genetic. We're testing for 3 genes from this virus and then a protein capsule. So the tests we have now are very accurate because we're testing for 4 aspects of this particular virus.
All right.
And I guess a saliva test would just be easier to do than some of the other ones. That's why it's being developed.
Yeah, and I think what might be easy with the saliva test, you might be able to spit in the tube, mail it off, get the results back in 3 days. You don't have to go to the doctor. You don't have to worry about being out. And so if that's what they're developing, that's great.
That'd be nice. Here's a text question. I am due to have steroid injections in my back in the next couple of weeks. Will this increase my risk of getting COVID-19?
No.
Simple.
Easy enough.
Okay.
John, let's go to John on the phone. Hello, John.
What's up, John?
Morning, guys.
Hey.
Hey, I have to. I'm going out of town for work tomorrow, actually, and I'm a little concerned about staying in hotels. Is there anything that I can do to help keep myself a little bit at less risk, I guess?
Yeah, can you stay home and not go?
Apparently not.
I wish. Yeah, it's not optional, unfortunately.
Yeah, I think it's good to have a face cover. I think it's good to have gloves with you. Again, they can be cotton gloves or soft gloves. I think that it's good to have a bottle of Clorox, not just those Clorox wipes, because you can travel with those. And I would just make sure you're not touching anything that you can touch your face with, and then maybe Clorox down any hard surface when you get to the hotel. I think the hotels, there's very little volume there. A lot of people are not traveling, and they're all cleaned down. But I just think, stay 6 feet away from people. Do the non-touching surface type stuff that has been told to everyone.
Wipe down that TV remote and the phone in the hotel room.
Yeah,
absolutely. I mean, do that even without COVID. Do that
when you're accessing the adult channel there in the hotel room because you're away from home and lonely. Make sure.
Right.
Yeah.
All right, John. Thanks.
And stay safe.
Thanks, guys.
Here's a text question. I'm uninsured. What will COVID-19 tests cost me?
So it depends on the facility, but between $50 and $150. LabCorp was charging us between that price range. Now most insurances are paying for it, but my wholesale cost at the office was between $50 and $150. So it's not inexpensive, but again, the best way. Hopefully you don't have symptoms. If you don't have symptoms, you probably don't need testing. Stay away from social gatherings.
I think that there are some programs in place that you can get tested for free if you don't have insurance.
Yeah, don't let that be a barrier to you getting tested.
Just look into it a little bit, and I think you'll find some stuff.
Here's another text question. If the virus is on paper, will sifting the paper release it back into the air to be inhaled?
No, you shouldn't be able to aerosolize it from the paper. So again, I don't think that's the risk area.
People are they're getting overzealous in some aspects, I think, about, for instance, when they bring groceries home from the market, washing everything, produce with soap and all that. There's a lot of overkill there, isn't there, Dr. Cobble?
Maybe a little bit. I do think it's probably good to wash anything you're going to put in your refrigerator, just because the cool temperatures can make the virus live longer. So I think if it's a perishable item, I don't think it hurts to wash it, not necessarily with soap, but washing it for 30 seconds is not unreasonable. If it's non-perishable, maybe take it out of the packaging. It really depends on who put that package on the shelf, and if that person was sick and was coughing on it, that's a problem.
Packages, like canned goods, for instance, from the grocery store. Maybe you could just wipe the cans off with Clorox wipes or spray the cans, because it's not going to contaminate the food inside. Just wipe those off, and then wipe any surfaces they've been sitting on off in your house.
Yeah, again, or just leave it out in the garage for 2 or 3 days, and then you should be fine for those non-perishable items.
That's what we do when we shop. We bring in the perishable stuff, and we just leave the other stuff in the car for a couple of days.
Yeah. Here's one, of course, specific to our listeners. If you inhale the smoke from a COVID-19 positive person, are you exposed to the virus?
I think there's a chance for that. Again, it's an aerosolized, and we don't know. I just think stay 6 feet away from people. Try not to inhale anything they're letting out. And people that are out exercising, there's data that shows that virus can aerosolize for 20 to 30 feet. If somebody is breathing heavily, breathing hard on a bike or running, and they recommend actually distancing further if you're out exercising in groups. Again, shouldn't be around groups of people that aren't your family, and really should try to minimize your contact with other people.
And when you say family, that's in your house.
Yeah.
That's not...
Immediate.
People think family means, well, all my family that lives all over the valley, I can be with all of it. No, that's in your household.
Let me just add to that thing about the aerosol, breathing in somebody else's smoke. Shotgunning is not a good idea at this point either. No shotgunning.
And here's
don't hotbox your cat. Cats are high risk for this.
Here's a text question. What should I do as a delivery driver that doesn't have access to clearing equipment through the day? Well, it's kind of worded poorly, but
cleaning equipment, probably.
Yeah, cleaning equipment. Okay.
Well, again, I think wear your gloves, don't touch your face, and if you're going to be around people that can get you sick, put a face cover on. But and if you have to change your gloves frequently, if you're touching the outside of the glove, you've infected your hands. So just be really careful with your glove touching.
And this is one that I think is on a lot of people's minds. It says, has there been any cases of COVID-19 reported from people eating takeout? I just worry about the food workers not staying home when sick.
Well, I think food workers are higher risk because they're out working, but I don't think that, again, most of this is aerosolized. It's not going to come for the food product. The great news in Utah is we've only had about 50 cases yesterday, higher, and about 50 cases more the previous day. We're still at about a 5% positive test rate. Hospitalizations are about 10%. Mortality is only 1%. So, where U.S. mortality is over 4%, Utah, again, continues to be very lucky. And for those people that may have family in Idaho, it's even better up there. We've only seen 5 to 10 cases per day extra. And, again, this is not coming from the kids. This is coming from adults who are out wandering around. The reports of children are very low having this.
Really? Yeah, so it's adults congregate. So up in Cache County, they've decided that the county has said you can open up your gymnasiums. If you have a gymnasium, go ahead and open those up. Think that's a good idea?
I don't know. I take the kids to the park, but it's just the kids and I playing with our own soccer ball, football. I think, again, maybe if it's small gatherings, I think that we're asking for trouble getting people out gathering again in groups, and people that are not your family that live at home. And I still think we're going to be late into May before a lot of restrictions are removed.
Right.
So just be smart.
All right, Dr. Cobble, thanks for taking some time with us. And Dr. Michael Cobble, please be safe yourself and take care of your family, and we'll talk to you again next week, okay?
All right.
Sounds great. Thanks, you guys.
Okay, thank you, Doctor. Traffic.
We've got a crash northbound I-15 milepost 320 at Parish Lane in Centreville. The right shoulder is affected there. And then a crash eastbound I-80. This is up in Lambs Canyon. This is probably weather-related because they were seeing some snow in Parley's Canyon. But those are the only accidents I have, and no slowages to report. And you're not reporting anything either, but if you do see something, you can text it to us, 33986.
All right, so round 2 of your boners coming up after these, along with Big Boy News. What's our candidates?
The titles are, number 1, Mask Scam. Number 2, Please don't leave your poop outside the restroom. And number 3, Who do you think you are coming into the Wawa like that?
All right, so boners round 2 coming up after this Big Boy News and opiniondo, or these messages, I got a little confused there. ZeroRes.com is the website.
Your trusted cleaner.
I trust them to clean all kinds of stuff in my house.
For nearly 20 years, Gina has trusted them to clean all kinds of surfaces in her house, which is a great thing. Zero Res is continuing to be here as you need them most. They have no-touch protocols. They've taken extra steps to ensure the health and safety of their technicians and the customers. Zero Res is ready to clean. They're running at 100%, cleaning as many homes as quickly as they can get to help more people. They've reduced the rates to just $25 per room. Minimums do apply. Zero Res will clean your carpets. They'll clean your tile. They'll clean your hardwood surfaces. They will clean your house, and they'll make it spotless. So when clean truly matters, only Zero Res will do. $25 per room. Minimums apply. Visit Zero Res Salt Lake or ZeroResDavisWeber.com or call 801-2880. My wife found a pair, I should say, of clown shoes at the DI. A giant
Sad dead clown.
That's immediately what I thought was dead clown.
How else do they end up
I went right to dead
What's
clown.
What's sad about a dead clown? I know that is a day of celebration.
Depends on where you find him.
Yeah.
If you find him in the forest, that's kind of sad.
It's a gigantic pair. I think they were. I'll take a picture of them and present them next week.
She bought them?
Yeah, for my kid. Giant pair of they're plastic, but they're meant to be. You can wear them. A giant pair, and I think they're pastel, like baby blue, clown shoes.
Is there a law that says clown shoes should always be red?
That's what I thought.
That's
what I thought.
They're red. The nose is red. The shoes are red.
It seems to me they were. Yeah.
And was he excited about the clown shoes?
Well, thrilled.
Congressman Bozo would like to put forth the following law: that clown shoes will always be red.
You know, I proposed this many years ago. I think we should have a National Clown Day where everyone in the United States, by law, everyone, by law, is required to wear a clown costume. And I mean everyone, from the president to the members of Congress.
You wouldn't do that.
If it was a law,
you would stay home.
Police officer, your home, people could come and knock, authorities would come and knock on your door dressed as clowns and say,
clown check.
Are you, yeah, exactly. Are you in there? If you're not dressed as a clown, you're going to clown jail.
You see, this is why Bill would be an excellent Republican. He fails to see the constitutionality. And that's why
the Constitution is suspended for one
day.
One day, maybe a week. A week.
What is the purpose of everybody being a clown?
It would humble all of us. It would humble all